Hi Aditi.
Aditi ma'am, Shivani and I are here already.
Can you hear us?
I'm not sure.
I can. I heard you. I
Aditi ma'am, can you hear us?
can hear.
I don't know if she's even online. Should I call her? Should I call her? Let me try and call her. Phone.
Hello. Hello.
Hello? Yeah. Oh, I didn't hear.
Yeah, we are here.
Damn. Sorry. I was wondering what happened. My phone was on mute. I mean, my laptop was on mute. Otherwise, yeah, I hear the bells. Good you called. Okay. Yeah, but I'm. Okay. Sorry. Okay.
It's going to rain very heavily here.
Is
So
it? Okay.
outside.
It's overcast here also, but I think it might rain here as well. Is it due to rain and does it often rain in No, where are
Really?
you?
It's at home. I'm right now at home,
You're back. Okay.
Malaysia. Yeah. Next week I'm traveling, so next week I'll have to just see what time the US class is and try to figure it out.
Okay, okay.
But today, unfortunately, I didn't realize the meeting. I had like a 6 o'clock. Right now it's 5. 6 o'clock I have a meeting, so I'll have
Okay.
to see about it.
Okay, so we'll know, we'll do as much as we can till 6. Then we could maybe then after that you can watch the video and finish that off.
Okay.
Okay, so this month we are doing portraits. Now we've done a little bit of the portrait when we did pencil sketching in March, but I want to expand on that a little bit and hopefully go to more details in portraiture, spend more time on it, so that you start becoming confident of taking on those projects. But again, with portraiture, it doesn't always have to be make a lifelike portrait of your grandmother and then your whole family is so proud of it. It doesn't always have to be that. There are simpler projects also that you can take, which you can use in other things. Like, say, for example, you want to send a card to somebody, or you just want to make a graphic somewhere and it doesn't have to be of a person. It could be, or a person you know. So today we are going to go through some techniques in illustrating faces which are not of people. So the things that you need to do in portrait, in making a portrait is, or need to come to a level of expertise, is to be able to see certain things in a face and draw those things efficiently. All of us have the same number of things. We have 2 eyes, one nose, one mouth, yet we can recognize differences in people's faces because our brains are fine-tuned for that. Our entire survival has been dependent on us being able to immediately recognize who is a friend, who's a foe, who do we talk to, who do we cross the road when they're coming in our direction from. So there are these things that are embedded in our survival brain. Because of that, even in a crowded place, our brain is able to quickly scan and recognize people that we know. I think there's something about being part of a clan that you want to then go and say hi to them and feel a sense of belonging. And then those that you want to avoid, because often clans have been warring, so you want to stay away from them and not have anything to do with them. So your survival in that sense depends on them. Now, when it comes to facial features, it's all about getting just a few things right. But because the differences are so tiny, that itself becomes the task, the difficult task. So we need to just get size, shape, proportion, placement of all our nose, eyes, mouth, hair, all of that right. Even a little change here and there, and suddenly the face that you're making can look too plump or it can look too old. A little shade in the wrong place can make the face look too sickly. So these little things are what we need to identify. When most people who want to do portraiture, when they start off, they already have in their head the thought that portraits are the most difficult thing to do, so you're not going to get it. And they are very difficult to do, no doubt. But what is it that is difficult about them is something that people don't want to experience, which is what we will do today. So we are going to make different kinds of faces where we will freely draw stuff which might otherwise scare you, like shapes of eyes, shapes of the nose or mouth, or placement, which is deliberately unnatural. So, like when we do our yoga class, there is one particular exercise where they teach us how to tumble or to just fall back. Once you lose the fear of falling, then you can do the difficult asanas much easier. That's the theory. So today we are going to do a fall back in portrait making. So once you see how bad can be, and that it's not as bad as you think it can be, then you don't have any fear of pursuing the more difficult topics that we will do later on in the month. So to start with, we're just going to make some pencil sketches and shapes. You don't need I think we can use a pen, your pencil, and later on watercolor. But we'll start off with pencil first. Sorry, wait. So it's just going to make you dizzy. Now, if we start off with something that we have now become so familiar with is emojis. If you draw just two different shapes, so you have a circle, you have two lines which are short on top, and two lines or one line at the bottom. This itself becomes a face. And then we can make all sorts of expressions also, but we can also expand this further. What if we change this shape a little bit? This becomes a smiley face also, but it's definitely different from the first one. What if we do it like this? Now it's a similar shapes, but we've turned few on their side and then turned the smile into a frown. So just turning a few things upside down, changing their direction can change the expressions. Now, the ability to see objects or faces in random objects, this is called pareidolia. I think it's L-E-R-A. So pareidolia is a phenomenon when if I just take a couple of objects and place them in a particular position, you will see faces in that. So for example, if I were to take this, the lid of one of my pens, I also keep this on. And maybe I can take this here. And I'll take my rubber band over here. It's just how I position this makes us think of a face. This phenomenon is called pareidolia. And you must have seen this often in things like your maybe a purse or a jacket or some buttons. And this can be a good thing and a bad thing. One is that when you, any kind of juxtaposition of different shapes and items, you will see a face. So theoretically, you feel that making faces should not be so difficult. But then being able to see tiny differences, that's not pareidolia. Tiny differences in faces makes the pareidolia pretty much redundant. You still have to focus on those details and make them correctly. Now, let's try one thing. I'm just using a regular pen for this, not our fancy pens. Suppose we make the same shape. And in this, we are going to try and make different, the same items, but in different positions. So we have 2 ears on the side here, 2 ears on the side here, and 2 ears on the side here. To this now, let's add 2 eyes here. Here we'll move them down. Here we'll move them up. And then we have a nose and a mouth, a nose and a mouth, and a nose and a mouth. So even with this, what we are seeing is direction. This fellow is looking in the front. This fellow is looking down. And this fellow is looking up. Can you see it? It's just how we change these tiny positions that make a difference in how the face looks in what direction. So we got expressions, we got directions. Now if we were to make some more differences, like let's try making the same expression, but change the shape. So more or less, it's the same expression. But what if we change the shape of the face a little more than this? We make a nice oval shape around it. Then we make a square. And then perhaps you can also make a triangle shape. Instantly in these shapes, you'll start seeing some kind of gender. Most likely, the oval shape looks like female. This starts looking more like male, and this one can go either ways, male or female. Okay, now if we look carefully in these, over here, what is working for us is placement. Over here, it's the shape. Over here, it's both shapes and placement. And then let's try one more thing here. Shape, size, placement, and proportion. These are our elements, right? So we've got shape, placement, and shape again, but size, it really doesn't matter. Or proportionate size. Let's try that. So suppose we have 2, or maybe say 3 equal circles. And now we're looking at placement of objects. So suppose we take these 2 objects and place them very close. And then we take them and place them very far from each other. Or sometimes we can also do something like this. So in this, you can perhaps tell age. So if we draw big eyes, this becomes a younger person. This becomes an older person. And this one is maybe a youthful person. So right now we're just playing with dots and lines. But this can go expand even more, and we can do more things with the face. We'll be carrying this forward next week when I will show you the facial features. But this is one understanding of how it's just a bunch of shapes together that we need to create faces. Now let's try accessorizing some of these faces. Let's take 3 shapes again. And what are the possibilities here? Again, we can put the same expression on them. Right now, they're all the same. But what if we did something like this? This could be almost like a schoolboy who's combed his hair really properly. What if we have somebody like this? This could be another schoolboy or even a schoolgirl. If I put rings onto her, definitely looks more like a girl just because we associate jewelry with women. Now, this definitely looks like a girl right now. But again, if we change a few shapes, add a few shapes, this can change. So in this place, if we add this, now makes the face a girl's. This one we can add a and if we add a bandana, then he could become a pirate with rings. Likewise, even this guy. Just add a mustache, and this face also instantly becomes a man face. So here we have gender with accessories. So this is one fun exercise you can do for to just play around with how faces and accessories work. Let's take different types of faces, shapes, and let's put them in a composition. So maybe what we can do is make a rectangle first. And from bottom to top, start making different types of faces. So make an oval, square, a round, maybe even a squarish shape. and put some expressions on these, put some dots somewhere. And they don't have to be in the center, like I said, some are moved to the left or the right. Just between them, you can make the nose. And then we can focus on different types of hair. So how about let's give, and don't think about the shape too much for any of these. Finish off their bodies like this. Here we could have sideburns. And here we could have a bald patch. And in these, you can fill lines or even textures. Now, I've done something similar many years ago, which has been used in a lot of places as a mural for diversity. So in this case, what we're doing is representing different people, personalities, ethnicities through just elements of illustration. Now, in this case, now I can make a mouth that's a little more pronounced. And here, maybe I can give this lady an afro. I love making afros because here we can create this texture. For this man, maybe I can make a man over here where I can actually give him space for the nose and the mouth, and all the rest are covered in hair. Almost like he's wearing a mask or an anti-mask, where the stuff that has to be covered is open. Then we can add other accessories, like maybe you want to add glasses. And you want to make some exaggerated hairstyles, like a bun. And a smile, chunky jewelry to show like a flamboyant personality. Then we could have maybe a bindi wearing auntie with teardrop earrings. And very strict looking hair. And then you can also add things like a sari or jewelry. You can give some more delicate lips. And here now you can also consider adding a neckline, maybe a t-shirt. So as you can see, little by little, as we progress, we can add more sophistication to our illustrations. But it can all be done with just few brief lines. And that communicates quite a lot. In case of this girl, I could have her in pigtails. Okay, so I'll leave this for you to finish. Try more stuff, and you don't have to finish it all in one shot, but as you keep progressing, keep thinking of other ways to add things. One more tip though, you can also do something like this. You can just add the bottom of the face and leave the top in case you want to do something like this. So you don't get this line, which we otherwise do when we just make a circle. This is also a possibility. And put everybody in a t-shirt right now, so you don't have to worry about what clothing you want to put there. Okay? All right. Now the next exercise we'll do is going to be trying to draw some facial features slightly more defined. So I want you to just observe this. I'm going to make a bunch of shapes over here, not too big again. These are going to be really small, but I'm going to make them in a continuous line. So we can, maybe I'll make them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know how the eyes are almond shapes? Let me draw the features over here first. This is how our eyes are. The nose is somewhat like this, and the mouth is like this. So this is just simple shapes. Now I'm going to recreate this, but with a continuous line. So what I'll do is make a continuous shape like that. And in this, I will try drawing the eyes. And then you can draw the ears and maybe some hair. So the line needs to be free and it can go crisscrossing across the face also. Then suppose I change the shape to this. And maybe I can make my eyes here, the mouth here. This becomes even more abstract, but you still can see the face. What I want you to do is forget about how accurate the face is looking or whether it's looking attractive or not. Even if you make a face that's like this, basically, just a scribble, it will help you to free up your hand when it comes to portraiture. And this kind of line, this kind of making of shapes also helps you to, like I said, this is a fallback. Everything over here that we are doing is probably going to be inaccurate. That does not make it wrong. That is going to be our fallback. Because when we make a very refined face, and if you get a shape like this, it can be used later on in maybe a wrinkle or part of an eyebrow or something like that. You don't have to rush for the eraser, which you would trying to correct it, and you would make a mess of the whole thing. Okay, so consider this like a fallback. These are the features we're trying to make. Also, let me put a shape around it and ears. But where, sorry, and we have eyebrows also. So anyhow that you can make any number of these in whatever position you can with a continuous line, that is important, we'll be fine with. Okay, do you want to give it a shot? If you're unable to make the circle of the eye in a continuous line, that much you can make separately. When you're drawing this, hold the pencil far away so that your pencil moves. It's away from the drawing. If you hold it too close, you won't see the features well, and your hand is a little clunky, making that continuous line. But if you hold it far enough, you're able to see a lot better and make these shapes much more um, aware of where the line is going. Once you're done, we will paint these faces. But for that too, use unusual combinations. So I just want to show you how I would do this. Let's take maybe a wash of blue and save the inside, just the eye color, the white of the eyes. Paint everything in blue. Then take the same color and make the section underneath the eyebrows. Like I'm making this, I don't know if you have that. Some of the shapes dark, whichever ones have been marked out. Like I have these in the continuous line. So this is almost like the exercise we did above, except this is with color. Maybe I can take a brown, a burnt umber or something, and I can paint the lips in that color. And because I'm such a sucker for that whole highlight in the eye, I'm going to leave a little section as a highlight and color the eye also a burnt umber. So this almost looks like a modern art painting. And this is where it begins from, explorations in different kinds of shapes, which then start making sense aesthetically. They start looking more compelling or even curious. Now, since most of our skins are slightly brown or tan, don't use that color for the skin. Maybe you can use an orange. And maybe use again an ultramarine blue or something for the hair, which you can drop and see how that wet on wet effect bleeds. Make some of the lines in wet on wet. These are the things that when you're making portrait can go wrong. And then take a fine brush and just make some lines dark. Now, usually we make the upper lid dark. So in this case, I'm going to make the lower lid dark and see what kind of effect that has in painting. Now for the next guy, we can use maybe a red, and maybe don't stay within the lines. And maybe don't leave the eyes white as well. And to this, maybe we can add a yellow blend at the bottom when it is wet. Let's see how this looks. For the last one, maybe we can just color. Oh, this is light red. Sorry, I forgot. It should not be brown. Paint the whole thing in different colors, in different sections. So anything but browns. This one, I'm going to make the eyes a little more detailed, like I always do. Make it, get a nice shape, even shape for the pupils, and a nice dark black lens in the center. Okay, how are your faces looking? Let me check, 1 second. I'm going to make a gallery. Oh, nice. Very bizarre faces. Very good. Let's see, Ajita. Nice. Very good. Don't correct or don't damp, don't pat them. Let it be. Let it just do its thing. Anything corrective that we're doing now is we'll save that. You'll realize that you don't really need to do much of that. Okay. Now, if your pages have dried, we'll move on to the next page. And here I want you to try drawing with just follow me while I paint with directly without using pencil first. All right, so I'm going to be making a bunch of faces here, which I'm looking at photographs on Pinterest, and I'm going to be drawing them, but I don't want to show them to you. I want you to follow a couple of faces that I'm making. Then I'm going to share the images with you. And then I want you to see how I have translated those faces. Or maybe I'll do one and the other. First, I'll show you the drawing. I'll show you what face I've drawn. Then I'll show you the drawing, the face before. Then I'll draw it again. You can follow me. And then the third one, we can all make together. All right. So I'm looking at faces which are fairly distinctive. There's something of interest in them. They'll be looking in the front, no side profiles or three-quarter profiles right now. But when we draw them, we will make them look a little quirky. I'm not looking at accuracy over here. So we are first going to start off with making lines in cobalt blue. So take some color in your palette. We don't want to make it too thick. It should just be adequately viscous so that we can make fine lines with that. Leave ample room around the face. So we are going to make one face over here, here, and here. So don't make it somewhere in the corner where you might get cut off. Make it somewhere over here and no more than about 1.5 inches right now. So I'm starting off with making 2 parallel lines. Within that, in the center, I'm going to make a shape like that, which is going to look like a nose. And then from the top, I'm going to make 2 lines come to the side and then create eyes like that. So some kind of proportion. Make a thick line on top so that it looks like eyeliner. And look at the shape I'm making. I'm pressing the brush down and creating eyebrows. And they are not even, they're not exactly mirror opposites. Now here, I'm going to make a shape like this. Note that these edges, the lines has gone beyond the bottom. And there's some distance between the two because I'm going to make lips which are rather large. Make 2 straight lines coming down and join them in an elegant chin. Now we take this up and make a hairline. And now I'm changing the color to orange. And I'm going to make some really curious, quirky lines on the top of her head for hair. I'm just making straight lines. And when the line comes down, I press it a little bit so it gets a little dollop of paint at the bottom. They're uneven. And here now I'm going to create what looks like knots. but they're all still very suggestive. They're not really, I'm not making them into loops. Now from here, I'm going to draw a very spindly end to some of these hairs. All right. Once this is done, using a slightly fat brush, we are going to take a nice light wash of cerulean blue and make some strokes on one side of her face to give it some dimension, just on the left side.
Aditi, I'll drop in about a minute's time, and then if I can join back, I'll join. I
All
just
right.
have to
Okay.
post it.
Okay, not a problem. So we'll just finish this.
Yeah, I'll keep this on the side, but I'll just switch off my mic and everything.
All right, not a problem. And then use the orange again for the lips. Leave a highlight on top and over here at the bottom. And make a semicircle bottom for the eyes. Okay, how are we doing, Richa? Are you able to make this?
Yes, ma'am. Only the eyes are left.
Okay.
I'm working on the eyes.
Okay, good. Okay. All right, so I'm going to share with you the picture that I have just made. Okay, so what I did was just translate some proportion or some line. The reason I made the top of the eyes flat was because she has got drooping eyelids, and the eye, you can see, is not the iris is not seen as a circle. So to exaggerate this, making a flat line on top makes sense. But there's more to her face than just the eyes, right? It's the hair that brings in the character. So we can make the hair even more prominent. All right, so the next one we can take again can be a slightly dramatic face. Yeah, we could do this. This one. So here maybe the the veil or the head scarf can be, oh, let me look at some others maybe. Head scarf is usually a good idea. Hmm.
Can we try a male, ma'am?
Yeah, we can try male. Okay, no, this one is looking sideways. I'm looking for a face that's looking to the front. Why aren't they wearing any accessories? Sorry? Okay, so we have one who's wearing an accessory but has a very peculiar facial expression. Now this is next level. You have to translate this at another time. But right now we just need a plain face looking towards us. Maybe this guy will do, but he'll look very girlish. Oh, somebody's already made a portrait of him. See? Very interesting. Let's just go back to
Somebody with an earring. I saw some. Yeah, there was this guy.
this guy, but he's looking to the side.
Side. Yeah.
Mm. We can do this guy.
Yeah, we can do this guy.
Because at least he's wearing a distinctive outfit with not hair accessories. Okay?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to share this picture and you'll have that as your reference as well. And I will make something and I'll show you. You can follow it step by step so you know what I'm translating. Okay.
Right.
So again, use a slightly slimish brush. And this time maybe we can use orange to make the lines, not always blue. So it's easier to make a face when you demarcate these areas. He has very sharp cheekbones. And somewhere over here between the cheekbones, we make the nose. His eyebrows are very distinctive as well. And we can make this for the boy. The lips are just a line on top and a line at the bottom, a fat line on top, a thin line at the bottom. For the eyes, we can make them in this shape because he's looking upward. And then we could actually make his hair in red, in scarlet. So here, when you're making the hair, make the brush strokes very evident. Don't be shy. It is all exaggerated, no? So I think you often use colors which are very muted. So this time, just use very bright colors. It's okay if your strokes look too big or suddenly the head becomes too big. It's fine. That is exactly what we want to get over. And now when we come to the clothing, here we can move to cobalt blue or cerulean blue. And make his, at least the collar. That's it. We don't really need to do more than this. Now we can go back to the face with blue, like we've done shadows over here. And we can create the shadows, the ramp light shadows with just brush strokes. So here, avoid the temptation of overcorrecting or doing more, because that will take away from the spontaneity of the picture. And remember that this is going to look a little weird, so don't stay away from that judgment. And we can use a nice cerulean blue for the eyes. Now, in order to make the eyes look good, remember to put a little bit of a highlight in the same direction on both eyes. He's looking like a werewolf actually because of this part. But nice, now I know how to make a werewolf out of a gentleman. Quite liking this.
It's got a very, I don't know, pinched look. Very sharp.
Yeah, but that's exactly how his face is. It's so drawn.
It's very drawn.
So you'll see a lot of this kind of exploration in modern art. And I remember every time we came across any kind of modern art expression, my mother had the most dismissive comments. Hey, kai, acha kai. Anybody can do this. This is not even a face. This is not pretty. And this is basically how we have been exposed to art. If it is art, it has to be pretty, it has to make sense, and I have to like it, whoever that I is. And if you don't like it, then it is bad art. So immediately dismiss it. You're done? How is it looking?
It's looking kind of weird. Unfortunately, the eyes sort of merged with the highlight that I was trying to make. So the eyes are
That's
not
fine.
there.
That's fine. Can I have a look?
Yeah.
Nice, nice. It's looking good. Very nice.
Thank you.
Okay. So, oh, now it's just you and I, so I can't spotlight myself. Oh, but I can pin it. Okay, great. Okay, so now I want you to choose a face. Maybe you can search on Pinterest or you can search on Google. Look for a face that you'd like to make,
Hmm.
and we will paint that, and I will paint one myself. So I want you to go through this process of converting what you see into lines and shapes and
Right.
color.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Okay. Did you find anything?
Yes, ma'am. I found this picture online.
Oh, nice. Yes, I know that face. All right. You want to try it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead. I'll make another one. And if you feel you need any help, feel free to ask. Share the picture on the group so I have ready access to it.
Ma'am, should I only use orange and blues, or can I use any other color? What do you
You
suggest?
you can use any color you want, but don't use black.
Right. Okay. Got it.
How's it going, Richa?
Almost done now.
Okay, good. Let me just spin it. Oh, okay, nice. What size brush were you using, Richa?
I was using 4.
Okay,
Then for the hair, I used 6.
all right. So the strokes that you made are rather thick, and that's because you're probably pressing the brush too much. So what I want you to try to do is when you're making thin lines, just touch the tip of the brush to the
Right.
paper instead of pressing it down like normally how we use a pen. Don't press it down. So hold your pen upright. It's like this. You hold it upright and then you draw lines like this. That way you can get the thinnest lines. When you hold it like that, and especially if you're going to make lines which are perpendicular to the direction of the brush, then they will often come. So if you're making lines like this, then they'll often come thicker. Okay, other than that, I think you're in the right direction. Yeah. So any feedback? Was it easy? Was it confusing? Were you unsure?
Very interesting.
Interesting. Okay, good.
Yeah. That because I never imagined that one could see a face like this and recreate it with such few lines and whatever, so that you get some sort of an idea of the face.
Correct.
That I think is the exercise that you just sort of learn to see face for what it
Yeah,
is. Just
exactly.
you.
Correct.
Feature. So that was interesting. I'm still getting a hang of how to do it properly, but yeah, I quite like this exercise.
Very nice. So then now through the week, you could just take a different face and try to make it. Just look for front facing and look for some kind of work, some accessory that they may have, a headband, a clip, or hair that is really a different color, tied in a different manner. Because in the beginning, it helps to create likeness with something that is distinctive. Because features are going to look pretty much the same. You have very little control over that in the beginning. But when you when you see a picture of somebody which has some kind of accessory you can recognize, then your caricature starts looking relatable to that. And then you can start, it'll subliminally happen where you'll start seeing the differences. And automatically, the next time around you make a face, those differences are absorbed and you will start making corrections. It's almost like an autocorrect system.
Right.
Okay. All right. So I guess that's it for today. And next week we will do pencil sketching more of the facial features, a little more in detail.
Right.
Okay.
And I just wanted to ask you, if the Friday class is not going to, be as regular, should I change to Saturday? Is that okay with you?
Yeah, it's perfectly okay. I'll ask Shivani also what her status, because again, she's not going to be around. Maybe I'll put it on the group and let's see how many people are attending. Otherwise, I'll shift them to the different batches.
Sure. Thank you.
All right. I'll see you then next week on Tuesday. You're attending Tuesday or Saturday?
Tuesday and Friday, I was attending Tuesday and Friday, but
Right.
if Saturday is fine, then I'll shift to Saturday.
All right. Saturday then. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.